Well, the time is just gone 20 minutes past 5 as we continue with the iftar drive. And in the next few minutes, we will be handing you over to Maulana Yunus Kawanga, the spiritual hour, taking you through the time of iftar in Johannesburg at around 25 minutes past 6 this afternoon. But before that, we're going across, and Alhamdulillah, once again, we have the honor, we have the pleasure of talking to relief organizations, and one of them being Muslim Hands South Africa, Alhamdulillah, with the country director for Muslim Hands South Africa, Ibnul Hassan Jilani. And these are organizations, Alhamdulillah, that make a huge difference in the month of Ramadan, and particularly looking at areas where people really need assistance in the month of Ramadan to make their Ramadan somewhat easier and a bit more comfortable, and also transforming lives of people, because this obviously at the end of the day is what we would call a game changer for communities in need. Ibn Hassan Jilani, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ramadan Kareem to you, and Jazakallah khairan so much for taking time out this afternoon.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Ramadan Kareem to you and all the listeners. Thank you so much for inviting us today here and give us an opportunity to share about Muslim Hands. Thank you.
Yes, Alhamdulillah, I believe you are out in the field at this point in time, and I'm sure there's a lot of work that is taking place, particularly in this month of Ramadan. And perhaps if you could give us a bit more information about the mission of Muslim Hands and how your Ramadan campaign actually is supporting communities in need.
Yeah, thank you so much. Absolutely. Muslim Hands, let me tell you about something about Muslim Hands. So, Muslim Hands is an international aid organization that was started in the UK back in 1993. And then we expanded to South Africa. Last 30 years, we have been working across 32 countries, providing critical support, whether it's emergency relief, education, or caring for orphans through our sponsorship programs. And as you mentioned, Ramadan is a special time, not just for reflection, but also for giving. And this year, like every year, Muslim Hands South Africa is committed to making a difference where we can with the support of our donors. So we are providing Ramadan food packs and hot meals to families who would have otherwise struggled to put food on the table. This includes people right here in South Africa, and as well as vulnerable communities around the world, which includes Pakistan, Yemen, Palestine, and West African countries.
Yes, Alhamdulillah. In fact, I see obviously you are covering quite a wide, part in and around the world, and particularly where the need is very great.
Can you
And
hear me?
and I just want to talk a bit about certain specific initiatives or projects that is part of the Ramadan campaign. I know you're talking about food packs, and I'm sure for suhoor and for iftar they go a long way in providing some relief from a dietary perspective. But let's just talk about these specific projects and how do they actually make an impact on local communities, my brother.
Yeah, thank you. So, precisely speaking about Ramadan, in South Africa, Alhamdulillah, we have distributed more than 5,000 family food parcels. So, each parcel ample to sustain a family of six for the entire month. Just imagine the number of meals we are putting on table only through these 5,000 parcels. And these distributions have taken place in various regions in South Africa. That includes Western Cape, Eastern Cape, and our KZN region as well. Speaking of international assistance, Muslim Hands South Africa has partnership with 13 Muslim Hands country offices, as I mentioned before, from East Asia to West Africa, where we are providing these food parcels. And just to mention here, we are partnering with World Food Program to provide hot cooked meals for the people of Gaza, and working with a local partner to serve these meals with people in Masjid al-Aqsa as well. Additionally, Ramadan food parcels have been distributed, as I mentioned before, in Pakistan, Yemen, and other locations, ensuring that vulnerable communities across worldwide they receive essential support during this holy month of Ramadan. Thank you.
Yes, Alhamdulillah, and I'm sure they go a long way in terms of, helping these families, the food parcels in particular, during the entire month of Ramadan. Just so I want to talk a bit about the communities because I'm sure, they must be very appreciative. They must be very, very grateful. What sort of response do you get from these communities?
Oh, thank you so much for asking for that. I was looking into few feedbacks that we call anecdotal evidences from few of the country offices. But before that, let me share that how we support these communities, how we select these beneficiaries for these food parcels. So, at Muslim Hands, we believe in a structured, fair, and dignified approach to distributing Ramadan food parcels. So each beneficiary is carefully selected using a poverty scorecard, ensuring that aid reaches the most vulnerable and the most desired person. So obviously, we have to do a need-based selection for the family. Then we have to pre-assign them the vouchers that they can bring at the day of distribution, just to save ourselves a bit of struggle and just to make sure the dignity. And obviously, we have to orderly and the dignified collection of these food parcels at the venue. Our audiences, they must have seen some of the feedbacks in shapes of pictures and in shapes of videos on our website and our social media, which is self-speaking for itself that these are quite dignified events. And speaking of impact from the community, I can share like three responses from three different locations that was led by this structure system. So one of the mother in Yemen shared with our monitoring team this morning that the voucher system made it easy for us. I don't I didn't have to wait for long queues to get food. And
Yeah.
Long Cape said that knowing I had a guaranteed food parcel gave me a peace of mind. Having this satisfaction with a sense of dignity while they are receiving this support. And blessed elderly person in Pakistan told me the other day, and it is recorded with the monitoring team as well, that this process ensures those in greatest need are prioritized and everyone gets their fair share with dignity. And these are, proxy indicators of the transparent system that we have in place for beneficiary selection and the dignified way that how they get assisted at the day as well. Thank you.
Yes, and also I think obviously Ramadan is just one time of the year, one month of the year when we obviously looking at the type of initiatives and also the assistance that is given to people and to families. But also again, one needs to think, what happens out of Ramadan. And yeah, I'd like to talk a bit about sustainable projects and perhaps uh, using Ramadan as a platform, and perhaps if you could share how your Ramadan initiatives align with your long-term goals of supporting communities beyond just the month of Ramadan.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad that you have asked this important question because the world is changing and we have to shift from this provisional approach to empowering approach, right? So at Muslim Hands, our Ramadan initiatives are not just about providing immediate relief, but we try to also align our long-term vision with United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. While Ramadan food parcels are hot meals that address urgent hunger and other needs, our broader programs focus on empowering communities, as I mentioned before, beyond this holy month. Yes, we do collect a lot of generous donation this holy month, but our programs, they are designed in a sustainable way. So let me give you an example that here are our core programs that contribute to sustainable development goals, right? For example, one of our major program is education, which is directly aligned to sustainable goal number 4, which is quality education. And within education, Muslim Hands has its own state-of-the-art school system that we call Muslim Hands School of Excellences and Muslim Hands Model Schools across 13 different countries, where often they get free of cost education. Needy, they are provided with a free of cost education as well. And additionally, we also have some vocational training programs for youth that through our schools and VTCs, we make sure that children and youth have access to quality education for a better future. And speaking of food security, as we speak of these Ramadan food parcels, they are directly contributing to sustainable development goal number 2, which is zero hunger. So beyond food distributions, we establish community farms, agricultural trainings, and school feeding programs to promote self-resilience and long-term food security as well. And another important thing, which is WASH, that we call water sanitation and hygiene. Our program is directly contributing towards SDG number 6, which is clean water and sanitation. And under this program, we construct boreholes, wells, and sanitation facilities. We try to provide some filtration solutions as well where they are necessary. The goal is to provide clean drinking water and hygiene education to prevent waterborne diseases, right? And make our communities water secure as well. And while speaking of sustainability, one last thing which I would like to mention here is livelihood and economic empowerment, which is SDG number 4, decent work in economic growth. So as Ramadan is time for reflection and giving, so we try to not only try to give people, try to provide to people, but we try to empower them. There's a famous Chinese proverb that, it's better to teach a person how to catch a fish instead of catching one fish for him like each day. So we are trying to create sustainable solutions through this generous act of charity from our donors, and we try to design some sustainable projects that have long-term impact. And just to share with our audience here, that Muslim Hands has bespoke meal system, which is monitoring, evaluation, and accountability and learning system through which we try to keep ourselves informed, and we try to gauge, and we try to evaluate the impact of our projects as well. Thank you.
Yes, Alhamdulillah. In fact, and now as you mentioned, Ramadan, the time for reflection and for giving as well. And we're already right into the second half of the month of Ramadan. So there is still a lot of opportunity for people to contribute to Muslim Hands and also towards your campaigns. And, if you could just maybe give us, just tell us how people can actually contribute to Muslim Hands. And also, at the end of the day, it's all about the impact that these generous donors and contributors have, in support of those who are in need, their lives, their livelihoods, and like you mentioned, the achieving the sustainable goals and sustainable projects which you spoke of, Ibnul Hassan.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I would take this opportunity to share my personal motivation that I have learned over the years while associated with Muslim Hand. There's a famous hadith, there's Khairun Nas Mayyan Fon Nas. So the from taking inspiration from this, so I would like to share with my audience here that Ramadan is perfect time to give, reflect, and uplift communities. So how people can contribute? So it's not too late because we are like at the end of second Ashura, but people still then can contribute through like some simple steps, which is, for example, they can donate from their zakat and sadaqat. And if my audience they go to muslimhands.org.za, they can simply calculate their zakat through the zakat calculator. They can put in their assets and their liabilities, and they can calculate exact amount of their zakat. And they have different causes at the website to choose from and to support for. And your support goes beyond just feeding people, that as I mentioned before, and as we were speaking of SDGs, it helps us create sustainable change through our key programs in education, as I mentioned before. And I forgot to mention our orphan sponsorship, which is ensuring vulnerable kids they have food, shelter, healthcare, and education, most importantly. And you can choose any of our WASH project, food security project, livelihood project. And every donation makes a real difference, my brother. Every donation makes a real difference. It feeds the hungry, educates the child, it provides water to those in need, and help families break the cycle of poverty. Maybe for us, 100 rands or maybe like 200 rands is just a cost of a meal at a nice fancy restaurant. But for some, it is, this number is making sure the family's survival for the whole month. So having said that, every act of kindness goes in for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And still, if some people they want to serve the people of sacred land of Gaza, so I would like to share with your audience here, apart from this question, as additional information, that Muslim Hands has been a humble servant of Masjid al-Aqsa, a place so close to all of our hearts, where we have renovated the wudu area and installed new lighting system and installed a new public announcement system, working closely with the local partners. And we try to make sure that every Ramadan we serve people with dignified, iftar dinners as well. And These are the projects. My audience, obviously, time is constrained here for this interview, and I would like to encourage everybody to go on muslimhands.org.za and have a look at the website. It's a very user-friendly website, which not only has different causes, but feedback against those causes from different locations as well. So that's how we can make a difference, because every single penny that we will spend here in the name of Allah, inshallah, is going to give us reward at the day of judgment as well. Thank you.
Inshallah, I mean, Jazakallah khairan so much. And once again, just to remind our listeners and viewers, it's muslimhands.org.za, Muslims Hands South Africa. Ibnul Hassan Jilani, Jazakallah khairan so much, my brother, for your time. Allah Ta'ala accept your efforts, and everyone else associated with Muslim Hands globally and also here in South Africa, inshallah. Allah, accept the good work that you're doing, inshallah, in obviously transforming lives and it's game changers for communities that are in need, alhamdulillah. And right towards the end, you spoke about the special relationship that Muslim Hands has with Masjid al-Aqsa, alhamdulillah. And also that's very, very encouraging, very, very heartening as well. And also, our brothers and sisters out in Gaza as well, and also in many other parts around Palestine and right across the entire world where oppression is taking place. And as a result of all this oppression, all the suffering, and, to the extent that we find that, people are in a dire situation. And if it isn't for organizations like yourself, like Muslim Men's Alhamdulillah, and the generosity of the donor community, particularly in this month of Ramadan, once again, we encourage people to go onto your website and follow the prompts, follow the links, and I'm sure a wealth of information that would prompt them, inshallah, to dig deep in their pockets. But for now, Jazakallah for your time, and we wish you well, my brother, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you
That
so
was
much, brother. Thank you
yes,
so
that was Ibnul Hassan Jilani joining
much.
us, country director for Muslim Hands South Africa with us. And with that, we coming to the end of this particular segment of the Iftar Drive. And next up, to take you through the spiritual side and the spiritual hour with Maulana Yunus Kawanga right until the time of Iftar, inshallah. So with that, I'm signing off. And next up, you'll be joined by none other than Maulana Yunus Kawanga. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.